attended a Scrum Master interview and you are asked a question, if you have to eliminate one of the Scrum events, which one will it be and why? So let me repeat this question. If you have to eliminate one of the Scrum events, which one will it be and why? If you think about it, you might, oh, this is a very simple question, right? But it's actually a very difficult question because they are not only analyzing to see if you actually know the Scrum event, they also would like to know like your critical thinking and your reasoning behind which one you will choose and why is it. Welcome back to Aisha Scrum. I'm very happy you have you all to join my channel. And if you're my current subscriber and my new subscriber, I welcome you all to my channel. So let's go back to this video and answer this question. How I'm going to answer this interview question is basically to choose one of the Scrum events, right? We all know the Scrum event is the sprint itself, sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and retrospective. And to be honest, this is a very, very difficult question to choose. If I'm in that situation in this particular interview, is basically I'm going to choose sprint planning. I think I can get rid of sprint planning, and let me tell you the reason why. I know you all will be like, oh, what, Aisha, sprint planning? Yes, I'm choosing sprint planning because the good thing is that backlog refinement is not considered one of the Scrum events, although it's heavily practiced in the field, right? So I'm going to tell my interviewer that I'm going to cancel sprint planning because I cannot do without daily Scrum, because I'm going to need that meeting to continuously track the progress of my team towards us meeting our goal. And also at the end, I would like to show our work to our end user. I would like to show this particular work to this stakeholder so they can also give us feedback so it can help us readjust in the upcoming sprints. And my team cannot do it without retrospective. I also need the retrospective because that's where I'm going to see for us to improve and get better and discuss how we can readjust and continue to improve as we continue to work together as a team. But for sprint planning, I know that if I support my team and we plan accordingly, I can get my team to do without sprint planning. And the reason why is that I'm going to be using my backlog refinement as basically my sprint planning. Like a lot of people know, I know I've been coaching this in my videos that before I even go to sprint planning, I've always will first even do like a backlog health check, right? And in my backlog health check, that's like me, the tech lead, and the PO will basically just discuss what is the next important item we'll be presenting to the team in our backlog refinement session. As we prioritize the backlog and adjust that, and the PO is giving us the inputs from the stakeholder, and our tech lead is giving us our inputs from the technical point of view, we'll adjust and then come to the team and decide what we're going to work next. And in my backlog refinement meeting, and there is no cap, we can have as many backlog refinement sessions as we want, and when we'll go over all of the story, we'll discuss what's going to be working on next, and we also will estimate as needed, and we can go over and do all those sessions. So by the time I meet in my daily Scrum, and as a team, we're just basically going to start our sprint. So I'm going to choose sprint planning because I know that I have my backlog refinement and I will use the backlog refinements to plan. And this is exactly how I'm going to answer this in the interview question. I'm not just going to answer simple and just say, oh, sprint planning and just go off in that. But I'll explain sprint planning and also explain why I cannot go without the other Scrum events, just like what I did in this. I hope this question going to be helpful to you. They may ask this question in a different way. Which Scrum event is your least favorite, or which one can you take out, or if you have to. They might ask this question in a different way, but always be smart, right, and answer it in a way how you can just justify. And by the way, there is no right or wrong answer in this, but it's very important for you to explain why, like in detail, why you will choose that, so they can understand the reason behind your thoughts. So that's the interview question. Another thing, recently a lot of people have been approaching me like, oh Aisha, can you please answer this interview question about a typical day of a Scrum Master? I've been asked this in the interview question. I know I'm a Scrum Master. I'm doing multiple things at once at work, so it's very difficult for me to sometimes pinpoint in one thing that I do because I know my day is always different. So how can I go to an interview and when I'm asked, tell me a typical day of yours as a Scrum Master, or give me a summary about your overall sprint, in less than 5 minutes or in less than 4 minutes. How can I answer this in the interview question? But before I answer this in the interview question, please, if you've not yet liked this video, or you've not yet subscribed to my channel, like and subscribe to my channel, because this is gonna mean a lot to me, and it's gonna also let YouTube know that this content is actually valuable to you, so they can share it to other people. And by the way, I just went live with my apparels, my clothing. No, I'm not even wearing one right now because I didn't yet get to home. We also just went live with our shirts and hoodies for family, kids, children. It's called Women in Tech. Check out that on Shopify account. And if you're interested in mentorship, do not hesitate to email me at admin@aishascrumtech.com. Alright, so now let's get to this interview question about your typical day of a Scrum Master. So to be honest, when I go to interview, I like to be myself, number one. I like to also personalize things with me, like me, my experience, what I've done, what I'm familiar with. I don't try to always be structured, like, oh, I must say it like in everything, like in star approach. I must say it this way. I must be specific with this point. So this particular question about your typical day as a Scrum Master, this question is actually very broad, because we all know as a Scrum Master, our day is very, very different day to day. Things that we address at work varies, and that's what we love so much about the job, right? And go to your interview and do the same. Like, but this is actually a very important question. I'm glad you asked me this question. And let me tell you about my typical day as a Scrum Master. And what I love most about being a Scrum Master is because every day what I do is not the same. Other than my Scrum events, I know like people will always think, oh, you just facilitate a meeting. I do beyond just facilitation of meeting, and that's what I love about my job, because sometimes, it depends on what I'm faced with. I can be teaching. Sometimes I have to mentor my team, I have to coach my team, and also for the most part, at least in the day, I also facilitate some of the Scrum events. Let's say today, like for example, it's the first day of our sprint, and the first day of our sprint, I already have like a sync-up meeting with my PO, because I like that personally, to go over things with my PO, just for us to discuss the day, what's coming up, and the PO too will use those sessions to like update me with anything that's coming from product. And then also I have my sync up to my tech lead, so we all will discuss what's coming up, or also what's going on in the tech environment, and also discuss any other anti-pattern or issues that's going on with the team. And then we'll join for our Scrum event. Based on what's come out of our daily Scrum, we determine what will happen in my day, right? Sometimes in my daily Scrum, we will have like team members that have access issues, and that's something that I have to follow up with and ensure the team will get that resolved. Sometimes too might be a dependency issue, and that's something I have to schedule a follow-up session just to ensure that that's also mapped out or clear, or there's at least an action item coming out of that. And also sometimes too the team are good, there's not anything going on, and that's where I have to look back at my working agreements to readjust and ensure that we are up to date. And also I do a lot of workshops, like for example, recently I just did a workshop on estimation, because I noticed that the team, we had a new team member that joined our team, and our team, there was a lot of back and forth about what actually determined a story point of a 3, what actually determined a story point of a 5. And we had to discuss, I had to have a session on a relative estimation workshop. And I had this with the team that was like in our afternoon, and we readjusted and went over everything about estimation. And just for the team, for us to know and bring that alignment together. And just last week also, we had to like revisit our definition of ready and look at like what was missing, because it came out of our retrospective that one of the documentation that's needed for us to ensure that our work will be ready was not added in our definition of ready. So that's something we had to go back and did like a team building activity where we can readjust and discuss our definition of ready and update that. And so to be honest, sometimes we also do like fun games, activities as a team, just to promote that collaboration and team building activities. And don't even start me with our also company-wide meetings, right? We have like a lot of meetings that we have to sync up, like our Scrum sync up meeting, our like product sync meeting, multi-product sync up meeting, our community of practice at work, our book club at work. So there's all these different things we'll continue to do, and that's what's so beautiful about my job, and that's what I like to be about Scrum Master. That's what I like about me being as a Scrum Master, because my day, every day is not the same. So this is how I'm going to answer this in the interview question. Basically give a scenario of things that I've been doing like previous week, past 2 weeks, or even recent month, things that you've done. so they can see that, okay, your day might take day to day, or that you just so invested in explaining all of the Scrum events. They know that we do that. That's part of our Scrum event. But what are other things we do? And that's where you'll now touch up on all those other things I've been describing. I hope you're able to answer this question. So recently too, I also had a question. Someone was sending me an email asking me, Aisha, could you please explain to me like how do I manage risks as a Scrum Master? And my quick answer was to say that, to be honest, all what we do in our sprints, everything like our sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, all those events are in place to ensure that we are discussing risks, identifying risks, and knowing how we can solve these risks before it becomes an impediment. So that's something we continue to do throughout the duration of our sprints and even prior to even sprints. Even what we do during pre planning or quarterly planning, big room planning, all those plannings too are there to ensure that we are able to early identify any of those risks that will prevent us from doing our work. So I just had to like summarize it that way because, to be honest, when they are talking about risks, that's broad, right? That's not something that's so like specific to a thing, because they might ask you, okay, how would you manage dependency, or how did you help prevent a risk to turning into an impediment or a blocker? And that's where you now have to be in detail and give scenario on that. I hope this mini interview question and answer have been very helpful to you all. And if you've been finding my content valuable, like and subscribe to my channel. And if you are interested in mentorship, do not hesitate to email me at admin@aishascrumtech.com. And also you can call me at 484-767-1979. And by the way, Ramadan is coming, so I'm going to be doing less of face-to-face video. I'm going to be heavy on maybe on Jira and finish up my Confluence. I plan to also introduce Moral and Mirror. So I'm going to be heavy on those during Ramadan because I have to fast for this next 30 days. And I won't have a lot of time to be doing a lot of filming because there's a lot of cooking in Ramadan and a lot of time that we have to like spend with family and stuff. But other than that, I'll see you all in my Jira tutorials and my Confluence tutorial for the next 4 weeks. That's the duration of Ramadan. Thank you all for watching my channel and thank you all for subscribing, and I'll see you again in my next video.